That's good, right?
Yeah.
Y'all gunho wooed Umbadi and the lost woman of Lake Victoria. Every dawn, the men of the Luo tribe rise up to see the sun rise. And as the sun shines down its blessing, the men of the Luo tribe send up their praises. And so it always has been that the gunho wooed Umbadi stood by his hut on the shores of Lake Victoria. That day, he knew that he was a simple fisherman, a poor man who dared not think that he would ever gain a wife. He feared that he would walk the shores of Lake Victoria alone all the days of his life. But on this day, God rewarded this faithful fisherman. The Aboro that floated in the island, that floats atop the water and goes when and where it will. The Aboro floated to the shores of Lake Victoria. We know not where it came from, but it floated bringing riches and luck to the gunho wooed Umbadi. On that Aboro was sleeping the woman who was lost and her lone goat. And the Udwi birds, the birds of omen, they began to sing overhead. And the woman woke up and she listened anxiously, wondering what would be the future that awaited her in this strange land. Nyagondo wooed Umbadi. He found the lost woman and her lone goat that God had sent him. He talked with her. And they came to an agreement. The woman and the goat, they had been on the Aboro for so long. So she went with Nyagondo wooed Umbadi to his hut. And on that day, they were married there on the shore of Lake Victoria. Nyagondo wooed Umbadi, a poor man who never thought that he would gain a wife, became a very fortunate man on that day when he married the woman that God had sent to him. He worked very hard, and soon riches came to him. Blessing and riches came to him. So he went out and he got 3 more wives. But one night, he came home in drunkenness. And he hollered for his wives, one by one, and not one of them would open the hut for him. And in his anger and in his drunkenness, he went to the hut of his eldest wife, which was a woman from the Agora, who was the source of all of his riches. And he banged upon her door, and he cursed her, the one who was the source for all his riches. The woman who had lived with Yanango Umbaro for many years was angered by his harsh words and his harsh actions. And she prayed to her God to help her to get revenge. So the next morning, she decided, I am going to leave and go away for good. And she walked away from the huts and the wives of Janganho Umbari. And she walked toward the edge of the Lake Victoria. And the only birds, the birds of Omen, they sang and they started calling out to the birds and the herds and said, come with the woman. And she went down to the edge of the water where they had first met, and she waded in. And then she stopped and she turned and she looked back at the land that she was now no more a part of. And she prayed to her God and said, I have lived with Ngado Wood Umbari, but now I am back to the water from which I came. Receive me, and all the animals come from the huts of Disma. And the birds called, and the animals came. And then she continued to walk into the waters, and the animals were following her, and he saw them, and he came out, and he tried to stop and bring them back home, but they would not. Down into the deep waters of Lake Victoria, she went with all the animals. And now Gunho Obade, he was heartbroken, and he fell to the ground and never again saw the sun rise, shining blessings on the people